hard work. Family. Never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from.
Be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Oh, every time I close my eyes,
you hear it, you hear it, you hear it. I know you want to be a billionaire so freaking bad. That's why you're here, isn't it? That's why you're here. That's why you're rolling with the D. Because you want to be a billionaire so bad. How's it going, everybody? You're in the house. You're in the place to be. You're now rolling with the D. Coming to you live from Studio 1.0. How's everybody doing? You know, tonight it's Devil's Night. Why is it Devil's Night? Because this is the night before Halloween. This is the night when all the little bad kids go out and they throw eggs at your house when you turn out your lights. So keep your lights on tonight, folks. It's going down. Where I'm from, it's called Devil's Eve. So it's on Halloween Eve. What's that mean? It's October 30th, 2014. It's 10 o'clock on the dot. I'm Sunny D. I'm your host. You're here. You're live. You're in a place to be. Got a great show for you guys tonight. Really excited. Going to talk to you about being a billionaire tonight. And that's where we're opening with our little Travie McCoy with some Bruno Mars. I want to be a billionaire. That's the song. If you think about that song, when you hear it, you know, he's talking about being a billionaire. I want to be a billionaire so freaking bad. So I want to talk to you guys tonight about that. And I want to introduce you to the show. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to Rolling with the D, hashtag RWTD. Why do we do this show? Why do we come to you 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday? You could be in a bunch of places. I mean, tonight LeBron James is making his debut back in Cleveland, where he started, came to Miami, picked up a couple championships there. Things weren't working out. Went back home, the place where they burned his jersey when he left. So now he's back home. Why aren't you watching him? Why are you rolling with the D? Why are you watching this show? And I'll tell you why you're watching this show. You're watching this show because you want to get out of the rat race. You're watching this show because you want something more for your life. You want something more for your career. You want to learn about the business that you're in. Now, if you're a beauty professional, if you're a cosmetologist, if you're a whatever business you're in, do you know that you're in a business? Are you just existing? Are you just going there, punching the clock, coming home, going back, punching the clock, coming home? Or are you looking for opportunities, looking for seizing the day, seizing the business that you're in? So we're heating things up over here in the studio, ready to rock and roll, talk to you about that. And rolling with the D, what are we doing here? We're hacking the bob. We say hacking the bob, the business of beauty. I'm a cosmetologist by trade, but I'm an entrepreneur by profession. That's my DNA. I'm an entrepreneur looking at ways I can grow and expand, not only through monetary ways, but just grow and expand in every direction. And so I'm bringing you things to get your mind moving, to give you some mental exercise, to give you some mental aerobics so you can bust out. You can be what you're supposed to become. You can be what you've always wanted to be. And if it's a billionaire, then I'm going to talk to you tonight and maybe give you just a different slant. This is just my slant, my view on some of the things through research, through gathering information. And I came across some pretty interesting stuff about billionaires. So we're going to talk to you about that tonight. If you want to call in, if you're a billionaire already, we'd love to hear from you. You can validate or discredit the information you're going to hear tonight. And if you're on your road to become a billionaire, maybe you're a millionaire right now, maybe you're a 100,000-aire, maybe you're a dollar menunaire, maybe you haven't even got on the journey yet. So it's all good wherever you're at. But right now, you're rolling with the D. And I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for all the love we've been getting on our Ustream channel. We're racking up the views, coming in on 1,000 so far views from the channel on various shows that we had. We've already pumped out 15 episodes. So we're watching the metrics, watching the statistics grow. If you've missed episodes, we have the full archive on the channel. If you haven't got on the episodes there, you might also go on to the YouTube, and you can find them on there. You can find them on the Twitter. You can find them on the Facebook. You can find them where else? You can find them all over the internet. Anywhere on the social mediums. Want you to take a look at the material and the archives that we're building up for you. So we come to you 5 nights a week to do this show. Excited to be in the studio. Excited to be here in Tampa in October. It's short weather out here. So if you're coming from maybe a different coast or a different city, I already heard some cities it's like bundle up weather. We're still in short weather. I can't believe it. So tomorrow's Halloween. What are you going to be for Halloween? We're coming in tomorrow. You never know what you might see tomorrow night. You might see us dressed up. You might not even recognize the Rolling with the D set. We might trick this whole thing out tomorrow night. You might see some bodies laying around the studio tomorrow night. But we're excited because that's one of our favorite holidays of the year. For hairstylists, we get to do all kinds of crazy stuff. If you guys haven't checked out our Facebook page, beginning of the week, we had a makeup party for Motives by Lauren Reidinger. We got to do some incredible makeup. We had some zombie-inspired makeup. We had some Sugar Skull-inspired makeup. We had some leopard print-inspired makeup, all kinds of really cool stuff. So we got pictures on our Facebook page. You can check that out at facebook.com/The Salon 1.0 if you haven't seen any of that. We do those shows at the salon on the 4th Monday of every single month so we can help share and help spread the word about Motives by Lauren Reidinger, the hottest cosmetics in the cosmetic industry right now, taking over the internet. Make sure you follow Motives Cosmetics on Instagram at Motives Cosmetics. And make sure you're following us at PM The Salon using the hashtag RWTD. So what's going on? What's going on in the world? We already know LeBron's back. You're here. It's Thursday night. What else is happening? We got football going on tonight. What else is happening around the world? Nothing new, right? Ebola's still out there. Old Ebola. Nothing really happening there. We've got, the symptoms. We're talking about the symptoms. We were talking about that before the show. So the symptoms are identical to the flu. So pretty much everybody's got Ebola, it seems like right now, because we're coming into flu season. That's convenient. So I'm sure that you're going to make a premium at your walk-in clinics and your doctor's office because the minute you sneeze, like, oh, you got Ebola? You got Ebola? Heard somebody sneeze. I was on an elevator, and a person sneezed, and the person next to me, looked like they were about to, wet their pants. They're just looking at them like they just sneezed. Like they're trying to look at me like I'm going to look. All I said was, bless you. I mean, that's what I was taught. I wasn't taught to clutch your purse and, cover up when somebody sneezes. I mean, if I'm going to die from a sneeze, then, that's the way I'm going to go. That's the way I'm going to go. So that's what's going on. Nothing else. Things are moving forward. We're on the brink of November. What's November? It's the big day. Turkey Day's coming up. Lots of football going on. Lots of potential distractions. The NBA season's starting back up. Everybody's excited. Steve Ballmer, former CEO of Microsoft, who bought the LA Clippers, the team that had the guy that was, racist as racist can get and got caught making some comments. They kicked his ass out of there, and then Steve Ballmer comes in, buys a team. He's fired up. He's like, I'm going to turn this thing around. So he's all pumped. So we got some billionaires. So he's a billionaire. What did he do? He bought a sports team. Another billionaire, Mark Cuban, my man, Shark Tank. We've talked about him on the show before. Another billionaire. He owns the Dallas Mavericks NBA team. So the billionaires they're doing it. They look pretty happy, man. They've got big smiles ear to ear. Now, is it because they own sports franchises, or is it because they're billionaires? Because I know a lot of people. I've thought about it. Have you? You're lying if you say you haven't. What would it be like? What would it be like to be a billionaire? What would you do? We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about, there's the psychology behind it. Because a lot of times, if you hadn't catch the episode about, the myths about money, I want you to go back and I want you to watch that episode because there's a lot of myths about money. And a lot of times it's very easy for us to think that that's going to be the solution to all of our problems. We try to identify your problems and then think, well, I've just had this money. Because what happens is if you get on that trail, then, enough is never enough, right? Because you might have little money right now, so you have little money problems. Maybe you have $100, you have $100 problems. Then you have $1,000 and you have $1,000 problems. And as you move up the ladder and you get to 100,000, right? Then you have $100,000 problems. Then you get to $1 million. You got $1 million problems. Then what do you think is going to happen at $1 billion? What do you think? You're going to get to $1 billion and all your problems are just going to go away? Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. Think about it. And I'm gonna also tonight I'm gonna give you a list of where people started, because a lot of people think you got to be born into money. Well, I've got a list of billionaires who all started off dirt poor. I'm going to give you that list tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about them, where they're at. But being a billionaire, is it all that it's cracked up to be? That's what we're talking about tonight. We're in the place to be. So I want you to think about this. If you look back, I was reading an awesome book. It's called Smart Cuts. If you haven't seen this book or read this book, Smart Cuts by a guy named Shane Snow. Incredible book. But what the book is about, it's perfect for this show. It's perfect for our audience because we're hacking the Bob. And that book is about how hackers and innovators and icons accelerate success. Now, I thought he needs to be on the show. So we're working on that. We're going to get Shane Snow, and we're going to get an interview. We're going to get him on the Rollin' with the D show. But as I was reading the book, it's a brand new book, just came out. Smart Cuts is the name of the book. I was like blown away by some of the ideology and the thought process behind it. I'm like, man, this is material for hacking the Bob, hacking the business of beauty. This material needs to be on our show. So as I was going through, doing some research, looking into this topic for tonight about billionaires, some of the things that I discovered in the process. If you go back to the 90s, so late, 1990s, what happened in the late 1990s? Do you remember? What was there a big boom? Where was the boom? What was invented in the 90s? Babies. The internet, right?
CDs.
Yeah, CDs. Well, I got my crew here, my live studio audience. We got Pat Man, executive producer behind the wheels of steel over there. Jenna's in the house, so we're trying. I'm trying to ask questions and get answers, and I'm getting nothing here, guys. I'm getting nothing. So the late 90s, right? So the 90s, what happened? The birth of the internet. And then what happened? What did it do? It created thousands and thousands and thousands of millionaires, which seemed like overnight. And it created a handful of billionaires out there in a place called Silicon Valley. Now, I'm getting ready to head out there. I'm going to go visit the Facebook headquarters in a couple weeks. But that's out there. What else is out there? Apple's out there. A lot of the big tech companies, Google, all of those big tech companies are out there. In Silicon Valley, because of the material silicone that makes some microchips that can store all the information, the microprocessors. So that's how it got the name Silicon Valley, because they're made out of silicon. So in the 90s with the internet, it creates these thousands and thousands of millionaires and a handful of billionaires. Now, when you think about the entrepreneurs, right, the risk takers, the desperados, the cowboys, the people like you and me, the ones who were able to ride that wave, early. And they got out before what happened? What happened right around that 2000? They called it the dot-com bubble, right? And you remember when it burst? So you want you to think about this first wave of entrepreneurs. They're riding in, and they bailed out before the crash. Before the crash, then what did they find themselves? They found themselves filthy rich, right? They were millionaires, a few billionaires. Now, I want you to think about these guys. Entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, you work half days. Isn't that awesome? That's one of the things I love most about being an entrepreneur is I get to work half days. Now, before you get carried away, I want you to understand there's 24 hours in a day. So a half day is a 12-hour day. So you pick which half, but you can work half days as an entrepreneur. Sign up here. So think about this. So you got guys that went from working, 80-hour work weeks that got out of that little wave just in time before the bubble burst, where a lot of people lost their shirts, they got out, and what position did they find themselves in? They found themselves in a position where, guess what? I'm used to working 80-hour work weeks, and now I don't have to work at all, ever, if I don't want to, because that's how much money that these guys made during that whole burst. So the millionaires, you think about the millionaires, one of the things that Shane was talking about was, for them, if they had smart financial planning, if they hooked up with guys like DeLucia & Co., and they had smart GPS on their finances, they got in a nice position where they would be able to live comfortably, live a nice life, be able to pursue new things, but pretty much be set forever. These are the millionaires. Now, billionaires, it's a whole different story for these guys. When you make $1 billion, when you make $1 billion, so you went to 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So now you're at $1 billion. It's a whole different ball game for you as a billionaire. If you think about a billionaire, you could take baths and champagne every single day. You could eat caviar every single day. You could buy a new car. If you're a billionaire, you could pretty much buy a new high-end luxury vehicle every day for probably the rest of your life. That's the kind of position some of these guys were in. They couldn't deplete their money if they wanted to, because the amount of money that they had was ridiculous. So I want you to think about that. A billionaire. That's the kind of people that we're talking about here. So when you think about this, what do you do when you're used to working 80 hours a week, trying to build a company, trying to do something, and all of a sudden you strike it big and you become a billionaire? What do you do? What do you find yourself doing? And that's the position that these guys were in. The position where they realize no matter what they do, there's no way they're going to be able to spend this money before they die. They won't even be able to spend part of it in their lifetime. There's no way. It doesn't ever run out. The money's probably going to grow over the years, even though you're living ridiculous. You're drinking champagne, taking bubble baths in champagne, caviar, riding limos, doing whatever. You go helicopter. It doesn't matter. So for a lot of these guys, these .com entrepreneurs, they end up living in the top 1% of the American lifestyle. That's where they're at. They can't run out of cash for like 4,000 years. That's the kind of money we're talking about. When you're talking about becoming a billionaire, that's the kind of money we're talking about. But you'd be kind of surprised what happened to some of these guys. So I want you guys to be thinking about that. We're talking about billionaires tonight. Why do you want to be a billionaire? That's the thing I want you to think about. Why do you want to be a billionaire? What's got you doing what you do? And is being a billionaire all what it's cracked up to be? That's the question that I have for you guys tonight. So when we come back, we're going to be talking more about what happened to some of these billionaires. We're going to be talking more about where are they now, what could happen, and things that you might need to consider as you're on your chase, as you're chasing down the billions and trying to become that billionaire. So stick with us. Make sure you call in if you want to talk to us about the topic. Call in here at the studio, 813-870-3700. We're standing by, ready for your call. If you're on Twitter or on the stream, you can put your questions in there. I'm monitoring that here. You can also use the hashtag RWTD. You're rolling with the D, and I'll be back right after these messages.
This break is brought to you by 1.0 Express, a Paul Mitchell focus salon and professional training salon. Are you a professional stylist who loves professional training? Or are you a salon owner who wants your stylist to receive the best professional training and become more well-rounded? Then you need to visit 1.0 Express, a professional training salon, where we offer a variety of weekly mini classes and workshops that range in areas such as hair cutting, hair coloring, hairstyling, and business building. 1.0 Express, a professional training salon. Visit us at www.thesalon1.net for our upcoming schedule of classes and workshops, or call us at 813-870-3700. That's 813-870-3700. 1.0 Express, a professional training salon for salon professionals who love professional training. We'll see you there.
Your morning, your job, your activities throughout the day, they all take a toll on you. Then you have to do it all again, and again, and again. Sometimes you need an extra charge. Awake Energy Shots give your body the boost it needs when you can't afford a letdown. Take charge. Get Awake Energy Shots exclusively at shop.com.
This break is brought to you by The Salon 1.0, a Paul Mitchell Focus Salon with locations in Tampa, Florida and Oldsmar, Florida. Are you tired of the same old routine when you go to the salon? You know the one I'm talking about. You go into the salon, sit down, and the stylist says, "What are you getting done?" And then when you leave, you have a shorter version of the same thing you came in with. Then it's time to upgrade your salon experience and visit the Salon 1.0 near you. Our team of salon professionals are trained in the latest techniques in hair cutting, hair coloring, and hair styling, and will offer you customized consultations with every visit. Enjoy our complimentary beverage bar and private shampoo room where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy a hot towel treatment, head massage, and hand massage with every visit. Come in and let one of our Paul Mitchell trained professionals create your new look. Visit us at www.thesalon1.net to schedule your next reservation. That's www.thesalon1.net. You can also reach us in Tampa at 813-280-2953 or in Oldsmar at 813-854-4505. Visit the Salon 1.0 and let us show you what the salon experience is all about.
Yeah.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad.
I know, me too. Sing it, me too. How you guys doing out there? This is the Billionaire Show, rolling with the D. We're now rolling with the Wanna Be a Billionaire So Bad live in the studio. How's it going, folks? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sunny D. You're rolling with the D. Tonight we are talking about billionaires, sharing a little story from my buddy Shane Snow. Created this book. It's called Smart Cuts. It's a book about everything about what we talk about here at Rolling with the D. So think about the subjects that we talk about. The subjects we talk about, how hackers and innovators and icons accelerate success. So I just finished that book last week and came across some really cool information. Thought it'd be a great subject for tonight. So we're talking about billionaires, but I wanted to share something with you just to put it in perspective, because I'm throwing out words here: millionaire, billionaire, millionaire, billionaire. But just to put it in perspective, I want you to think about this. If you had $1 million in ones, $1 million in ones, you know how long it would take you to count that? How long you think, Batman?
Long time.
How long? An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? And $1 bills, how long?
Maybe a week.
Okay, a week? What you got, Jenna? I got a week over here.
There's like an actual answer.
How long you think? He said a week. An hour. Okay, so we got a week and an hour. So if you had $1 billion in ones, how long do you think that would take? You said a week for $1 million. How long do you think for $1 billion?
Only 5 months.
5 months. How long do you think? You said an hour for $1 million. How long do you think for $1 billion? 10 what? 10 hours. All right, folks, check this out. Just so I can put it in perspective so you can understand. A millionaire versus a billionaire. If you had $1 million in ones, Pat-Man, you were really close. It would take you 2 weeks to count $1 million in ones. 2 weeks. Just to put it in perspective, how disconnected a millionaire and a billionaire are, how far apart. To count 1 billion ones, it would take you 31 years and 8 months. To count 1 billion in ones, that's counting 1, 2 for seconds. 31 years and 8 months versus 2 weeks. So when you think about it, what kind of stupid money? Like when I was talking to you about a billionaire, literally could buy a brand new luxury vehicle every day for the rest of their life and still have money left over. They could drink champagne breakfast, lunch, and dinner, eat caviar, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, eat out. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get rid of this cash. So when you hear, people and you say, oh, so-and-so is a billionaire, when you look at like Warren Buffett, third richest person, Bill Gates, $52 billion, Mark Zuckerberg, our 30-year-old CEO, founder of Facebook, $30 billion man, money is not their issue anymore. The issue is trying to find something to do because they can do anything. Anything. So that's what we're talking about. So when we're talking about you want to be a billionaire, what does that mean? What is being a billionaire all about? And I want you to think about these things. So we're talking about what would happen. So after the dot-com bubble burst, right, you got all these people, some millionaires, then you got some billionaires that got that stupid money, can never get rid of it. No matter what they do, they could just drop money all over. They could pay for everything that they go buy. Say you go to Starbucks every day. You get a coffee every day. You pay with $100 and you say keep the change. You could do that every day for the rest of your life. And you still have ridiculous amount of money. Everything you buy, you could buy with $100 and say keep the change. You buy a 99-cent nugget, here's $100, keep the change. It doesn't matter. That's the kind of money billionaires have. So what happens to these guys that are used to working 80, 90 hours a week on something, and then they hit it big and boom, now they're a billionaire? Well, here's the deal. 4,000 years, you can't run out of cash. One of the names that they're referred to, people who Bill Simmons, when he's talking about a dot-com entrepreneur, he referred to these people as, he would call them pajama rich. You know what pajama rich means? So rich that they can go to a 5-star restaurant or they can sit courtside at the NBA game in their pajamas. That's how much money they got. That's called pajama rich. So they have so much money, they don't have anything to prove to anyone. So what happens when you get to that point? What do you do? What do you do? Now here's the crazy thing. The strangest part about this, the thing that I kind of boggled my mind, when you're thinking about, man, if I had that money, I know some of you right now are probably like, man, that would solve every problem I have. I would have no worries. Oh, man, that raggedy car that I got, I would buy a brand new one, a 2015 model. I know how you're feeling, right? Oh, that little hole in the roof, I'd fix that. I buy my mama a house. I do this, I do that. I buy all the new Jordans. You do all that, right? I had an iPhone 6 Plus in every color. Yeah, you do all that. But here's the strange part about this. With all of these billionaires, strange thing is, a lot of them actually get totally depressed. Totally depressed. Now, what happened? You just went from debt and desperation to peace and prosperity and having stupid pajama money. What happened? So now here's what I want you to think about. Have you ever seen, one of the things that I was reading here is about the Olympic rings at the playground, right? For the jungle gym. The short ones, and what you have to do is you have to swing from the one ring. You build up the momentum like a pendulum, right? And you swing to grab the next one. And then you swing again, grab the next one, right? You've done it. Monkey bars, right? So you're swinging, boom, boom. Now here's the thing. What happens if you hold on to the one monkey bar too long? What do you lose? You lose that momentum. You lose the swing. And it's hard to build up any speed to try to swing to the next one. You got to keep it going. And that's what happens to a lot of these guys. So if you think about that, what is that? We're talking about one of Isaac Newton's laws of motion, right? Isaac Newton, law of motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless it's met by an unstoppable, an immovable force. Boom. So what happens with these guys? They start swinging, just like you and me. We start swinging and we start crushing it. But then if we stop swinging or we slow down and we lose the momentum, that's what happens with the sudden success that these billionaires that were created happens. Because they lost that. And it's like, what do they need? You need somebody to help either lift you, get you swinging again. If you get stuck, on that one monkey bar, what do you get? You just hang there. For a little kid, they just hang there and then they start screaming. Hey, Mom! They start screaming. Somebody to help them, because they can't get their body going anymore. They lose the momentum. So that's what happened with a lot of these guys. Financial planners say that this is why suddenly and surprisingly, a high percentage of the rapidly wealthy get depressed. Therapist Manfred Ketz de Vries once put it in an interview with the Telegraph. He said, when money is available in near limitless quantities, the victim sinks into a kind of inertia. Whoa. Right? This is what, and James is saying the same thing. Like, whoa, victim? So these guys are victims? Right? The pajama guys are victims? How's that? But when you think about it, you don't feel sorry for them, right? You can't feel sorry for them. But what happened to them? Life stopped moving forward. Life stopped moving. When business people cash out big. So that's when you start to think about, if you go back a couple episodes, we're talking about goals. You know, if your goal is to get to the cash out and you want to cash out big, life starts moving so nice. And you just boom, and then you get to the cash out big. What happens? Momentum's been building and building and building and building. And then all of a sudden, it's over. All of a sudden, it's over. All the champagne is gone, and there's this feeling. You know, this feeling of almost an emptiness that sets in on a lot of these guys. You know, it's like, when that happens, it's like the beams of a house, you know, they just go away. And what happens is that emptiness sets in, and then they get depressed. I was reading, I'm like thinking as I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, this is true. This is true. Now, granted, right, I'm the same way. I know you got money problems. You know, a billionaire would take care of $1 billion. How quickly would that take care of your money problems? You know, you start making your list right now. If you got $1 billion, what you would do, it'd solve your money problems. But looking at, however, studies show that the wealthy, especially those who fall into it through inheritance or the lottery or the sale of a business, are often not happier once they're rich. A meaningful percentage of them believe that their wealth causes more problems than it solves. Whoa. Causes more problems than it solves. So what's up with that? So here now, as I started to read on, you know, start talking about a couple cool stories. I thought this was pretty interesting. So if you want to get really depressed about success, look at, you know, what happens to in the 60s and 70s. You guys remember there was a heroic astronaut named Buzz Aldrin, the second man to set foot on the moon, returned home from his historic Apollo 11 mission. What happened after that? He became an alcoholic, got severely depressed. His life just completely unraveled. He burned through 3 marriages, wrote 2 memoirs about his misery. What happened? Neil Armstrong, remember that guy? The man who stepped out of Apollo 11 just ahead of Aldrin? He spent his next few decades figuring out what he wanted to do with the rest of his life. He taught a few classes, some small universities, quit unexpectedly. He consulted a little bit for NASA, some other random companies. He did some commercials for Chrysler. He quit everything. He quit all those things. Mostly, he just hid. He hid from autograph seekers. He sued companies for using his name in ads. What happened? You know, there were like a lot of things that happened. There were a bunch of things that factored in. But these post-moonwalk slumps, as they're called, what do you do after that? You just walked on the moon. That's like boom, you hit it. You hit the highest you could hit. You know, what do you do after that? What do? You just walked on the moon. How do you top that? And that's what happens to a lot of these billionaires. You know, they hit that. Just like billionaires, they get to the top. The momentum of the job, the momentum of the chase, the thrill, the building of the business, it stops. And then they turn into that stuck kid on the monkey bars. You know, that's the same thing. So now, as I was looking at this, it was interesting to find out. It's the same reason that only 1/3 of Americans are reporting that they're happy at their job. 1/3. Are you one of that 1/3? Are you happy at your job? Whenever there's no momentum, whenever there's no progress in your career or your relationship or your business, and I say this to my team all the time at the Salon 1.0, if you're not growing, you're dying. You got two options. You grow or you die. There's no stable and waiting. There's no, I'm just kind of feeling it out. There's no, I'm comfortable. No, you're not. You're growing or you're dying. And that's what happens. When these guys, the momentum stops, they get depressed. There's nothing else. There's nothing to chase. Because they got the billion, now what do I do? So, as I was looking at this, it's just like Isaac Newton, and he points out, an object at rest tends to stay at rest. So when you lose the momentum, you become stagnant. You don't move forward. You don't go for it. So you want to avoid that, don't you? You want to avoid the depression. You want to avoid the dead-end job, the lack of momentum, that fuels the depression. So you have to think about what you're doing. What is your purpose? I was talking to one of my team members today about this. Because when you're moving forward and you're constantly moving forward, you don't know maybe exactly what that purpose is. So you're getting something that we call small wins, these small victories. And as I was reading, the Harvard Business School professor, Teresa Amabile, took on this question in the mid-2000s in a research study of white-collar employees. So what she did, she tasked 238 pencil pushers in various industries to keep daily work diaries. The workers answered open-ended questions about how they felt, what events in their days stood out. Amabile and her fellow researchers then dissected the 12,000 resulting entries, searching for patterns in what affects people's inner work lives the most dramatically. The answer, was simply, guess what? What do you think the answer was? What affected them? It wasn't money. It was progress. A sense of forward motion, regardless of how small. So even if you just, today, your goal or your business or your relationship, your life, it just took one step forward, it's progress. And that's what we're after. And that's interesting. I thought it was really interesting. So Amabile found that minor victories at work were nearly as psychologically powerful as major breakthroughs. To motivate stuck employees, as Amabile and her colleagues, Stephen J. Kramer, suggest in their book called The Progress Principle, businesses need to help their workers experience lots of tiny wins. And that's what we do. That's what I want you guys to think about. If you're in a position where you're leading people, you have a company, or you're part of a company, you go for those tiny wins, those small wins. That's how you keep the progress going. So when you think about and you're trying to motivate yourself, you're trying to look at what happened with these billionaires and these astronauts. They got the big win, they got the big high, they got to the big top, and then they got in a funk. And one of the researchers said to get out of the funk, says Joan DeFuria and Stephen Goldbar, co-founders of Money, Meaning, and Choices Institute, depressed successes simply have to start over. They have to start over. So this is why so many people who don't need more money still create new businesses. Think about that. Richard Branson, you think he's trying to get rich still? One of my mentors that owns Paul Mitchell, John Paul DeJoria, just started a new business, Rock Mobile. Do you think he did it because he's trying to make money? He's a billionaire. He's got 4 to 6 billion net worth. Remember what I said, 1 billion, 31 years to count it out. So you think they're doing it because they want? No, that's what they're doing, because they don't want to lose the momentum. So they're looking at that. They're looking at how they're going to take that success and move it into maybe philanthropy. What do you think Bill Gates is running around trying to cure malaria for? Him and his wife Melinda. Because they don't want to become stagnant. That's their new business. Their goal is to give all their money away before they die. Think about that. And a lot of billionaires, I mean, like Groupon's Andrew Mason, Microsoft's Paul Allen, they started bands even. You know, in their subsequent endeavors, even though they're small, they can still keep depression at bay. So you need to look for small wins, guys. You need to look for things that you're going to do to keep moving the needle. Keep moving the needle so you don't get in a slump. So you don't get in that point of stagnation. So you keep the momentum going. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about a couple other things that you can do to create what we call small wins. We're talking about billionaires, depressed billionaires. I thought if I had $1 billion, all my problems would be solved. And I was listening to Bruno, and he's talking about him wanting to be a billionaire so freaking bad so he can have the life that he never had. But that doesn't sound like much of a life if you lose your momentum. So when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple other things that you can do to help on your journey to become a billionaire. So you're rolling with the D. Make sure you're using the hashtag RWTD. Make sure you're calling in here at the studio. The number is 813-870-3700. You're rolling with the D, and I'll be back after these messages. Who wants to be a billionaire?
This break is brought to you by the Salon 1.0, a Paul Mitchell Focus Salon with locations in Tampa, Florida and Oldsmar, Florida. Are you tired of the same old routine when you go to the salon? You know the one I'm talking about. You go into the salon, sit down, and the stylist says, "What are you getting done?" And then when you leave, you have a shorter version of the same thing you came in with. Then it's time to upgrade your salon experience and visit the Salon 1.0 near you. Our team of salon professionals are trained in the latest techniques in hair cutting, hair coloring, and hair styling, and will offer you customized consultations with every visit. Enjoy our complimentary beverage bar and private shampoo room where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy a hot towel treatment, head massage, and hand massage with every visit. Come in and let one of our Paul Mitchell trained professionals create your new look. Visit us at www.thesalon1.net to schedule your next reservation. That's www.thesalon1.net. You can also reach us in Tampa at 813-280-2953 or in Oldsmar at 813-854-4505. Visit the Salon 1.0 and let us show you what the salon experience is all about. This break is brought to you by Dilution Co. Are you ready to simplify your life with modern, real-time accounting? Then you're going to want to visit Michael and the team at Dilution Co. They offer a variety of services from accounting, bookkeeping, taxes, tax planning, and financial planning for individuals and businesses to help save you time and money. They utilize the latest innovations in cloud-based technology to really help you grow your business, and they can adapt to any platform. They are truly accountants for the digital age and will keep you up to date with the latest strategies and solutions. Get in touch with Dilution Co. at deluciaco.com, also at 813-252-0-TAX. That's 813-252-0-TAX. Dilution Co. Simplify your life with modern, real-time accounting.
Yes, you are back in the place to be. You're rolling with the D. Tonight, you know what it is. That's right. The world better prepare. Are you going to be a billionaire? Are you one of the next billionaires? You know, that's actually not the only version of that song. I bet a lot of you guys haven't even heard this version before. This is actually I Want to Be a Billionaire by Dick Wagner. Let me know if you even heard this before. Yeah, that's Dick Wagner. It's off his album is called Home at Last. I want to be a billionaire. That's where we're at tonight, folks. We are talking about billionaires. Now, on that same topic, you guys remember there was an actor. He was in The Breakfast Club. Was his name? Bad boy in The Breakfast Club. Judd Nelson? Judd Nelson. He was in another movie that you can find if you look on maybe Netflix or online, but it's called the Billionaire Boys Club. And there's some interesting scenes out of that movie, but it goes into that whole lifestyle, so you can get an idea while you're on your route. But tonight we're talking about billionaires. We're talking about the sad part about being a billionaire that happens to a lot of billionaires. They become extremely depressed because it's like they climb the mountain, and then when they get to the top, there's nowhere else to go. They get to that peak, and they're like, now what? What's next? And I was sharing some of the stories about some of our historical figures, guys like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong who, walked on the moon. And then after that, how do you top that? And they ended up depressed, and they ended up in situations where they were just, they didn't know what they were going to do. They were, alcoholics, failed marriages, failed business attempts, and just kind of became recluse and hid. That's what could happen. So how do you keep going? And then as I was reading one of the books I just read recently by a guy named Shane Snow, we're going to get him on here. He wrote a book called Smart Cuts, and it's how hackers, innovators, and icons accelerate success. And he was sharing these stories that I'm sharing with you guys, and then some of the ways around it. So in some of the psychologists, that from the University of Michigan, Carl Weick of the University of Michigan, he calls small wins. And the big thing is that the billionaires, what you have to do, guys, when you're hitting these little success levels, it's not about doing something bigger or better to be happy. What it's about is to keep moving, keeping the momentum going. And what Carl said is he said it's small wins. A small win is a concrete, complete, implemented outcome of moderate importance. But he wrote that in a seminal paper for American Psychologists in 1984. He said, once a small win has been accomplished, forces are set in motion that favor another small win. And that's what we're talking about. A little bit of momentum. You just go. You remember there's a story about a little engine that could. Everybody knows about that. And what did he do? Chug-a-luck, chug-a-luck, chug. Choot, choot. And he just kept going. Chug-a-luck, chug-a-luck, chug. Choot, choot. And he just kept going. He's a little engine that could. And what did he do? He kept chug-a-luck. And he made it over the mountain. Little wins, small wins. And that's what they talked about. Now, not every astronaut struggled post-space like Buzz did. Earth orbiter John Glenn went into politics. Alan Shepard, America's first man in space, and the fifth to stand on the moon, became a successful businessman. Alan Bean, who moonwalked in the Apollo 12 mission, became a painter. Apollo 15, James Irwin, found fulfillment in helping others as a minister, right? Each of those guys, they parlayed their momentum into something that kept the wheels moving, kept life happening for them. So as you guys are moving forward, you got to be thinking about that. So maybe you're that person. If you're struggling from lack of momentum, discouragement, it comes in part from being, from a feeling of lack of control. Lack of control. So when you look at these small wins, what is something that you could do right now? A small win, something that you have control over. And we talked a lot about that yesterday in the show that we did about being responsible. Small wins, something that you can do that you have control over, a small opportunity that you can get some visible results. Whether it's making money, losing weight, starting a business. I had a small win today. In my entire company, it looked like a big win, but I was talking to some people at a business meeting. It was a small win, but that propelled me to go another day, to fight another day, to be ready to take on another day. And it's only Thursday. And so now I got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to collect some more wins to keep me going, So I want you guys to be thinking about what are some small, controllable opportunities that you can get some results in, small wins, and that's what's going to help you guys start feeling better. I want you to be a billionaire, but I don't want you to be a depressed billionaire. So that's really what we're talking about tonight. I hope you guys were digging that. Make sure you go out, check out that book, Smart Cuts, How Hackers and Innovators and Icons Accelerate Success by my buddy Shane Snow. Incredible read, great content, great information. So I wanted to, kind of come in for a landing here. I wanted to kind of go through a list of billionaires. And most of these guys, you're going to recognize them as soon as you see them. But the cool thing I found that, we all think, I got to be born with a silver spoon in my mouth. How am I ever going to stack up that much paper? These guys all had an advantage, some kind of upper hand, this or that. Well, the truth is that this list that I'm going to show you, 15 billionaires who were once dirt poor. We're talking poor. Nothing, not two nickels to rub together. And you'd be surprised when you see this list of people that we've got, lined up here. Dirt poor. So let's go through the list here. First one, boom. You know this guy? Who's this guy? Yep, most of you guys are probably like, oh yeah, I've seen him somewhere before. I've seen him. I'm not exactly sure where, but I know I've seen him. Who is that? You know who that is?
Mr. Bentley. He's got Bentley behind him.
Mr. Bentley. No, it's not Mr. Bentley. You know who that is, Jenna? Famous, iconic clothing brand involves a horse. Polo. There you go. Ralph Lauren. So that's Ralph Lauren. So his story, he was once a clerk at the Brook Brothers store, dreaming of men's ties. That's kind of where he started. He graduated high school in the Bronx, New York, dropped out of college, joined the Army. Then while he was working as a clerk, he questioned whether men were ready for wider and brighter designs and ties. And then the year he decided to make his dream reality was 1967. He sold $500,000 worth of ties, and then he started Polo the next year. Currently, his net worth, $7.7 billion. That's Mr. Ralph Lauren. That's what I'm talking about. Got another one for you. What about this guy? Anybody know who that guy is? They didn't give him his best. He took a selfie or something on that one. Like, hey, we need a picture of you. This guy, he's an investor. His name is Ken Langone. His parents worked as a plumber and a cafeteria worker. To help pay for his school at Bucknell University, he worked odd jobs as his parents, mortgaged their home to pay for this guy's school. And then in '68, he got to work with a guy with the big ears that ran back in the the political race, Ross Perot. He got to work with him, and he took to take electronic data systems public. And then 2 years later, he partnered with Bernard Marcus, and he started a little company you might have heard of called Home Depot, which also went public in 1981. His current net worth, $2.1 billion. He's killing it. Let's see. What about, I don't want to give him away. Hold on a second. What about this person? Everybody ever heard of her? No. Oprah Winfrey. What happened? What's her story? She's born into poverty. I know she was sexually assaulted when she was a teenager, became impregnated. She went from there. She became the first African-American TV correspondent in Nashville. Born in a poor family, Mississippi. Won a scholarship, went to Tennessee State University. And at the age of 19, becomes the first African-American TV correspondent. 83, she moved to Chicago. She worked for an AM talk show, doing a little bit of this kind of work. And then later, the show became the Oprah Winfrey Show. Now she got her own network. She's killing it, changing lives, really giving back. Worth $2.9 billion. Not too shabby. Let's see who we got next. Oh, my man. Let's go back here. What about this guy? This guy, you know it. You see him. He's got his product. He's a marketer. He's a brander. He's got his product in the picture. That's Howard Schultz. Starbucks. He grew up in a housing complex, poor housing complex. You know, he grew up, he said he always felt like he was living on the other side of the tracks. And he said he knew people, you know, on the other side had more resources and more money. They were happier. And for some reason, he said, I don't know why or how, I wanted to climb over the fence and achieve something beyond what people were saying was possible. He said, I may have a suit and a tie on now, but I know where I'm from and I know what it's like. So he ended up winning a football scholarship. So that's how he got out of poverty. He won a football scholarship, went to the University of North Michigan. He went to work for a company called Xerox after he graduated. And then shortly after that, he took over a coffee shop called Starbucks. And then, which at the time, it only had 60 shops. Then he became the company's CEO in 1987 and grew the coffee chain to more than 16,000 outlets worldwide. Net worth, $2 billion. Not too bad for some coffee beans. Not too bad for some coffee beans. We got next. We already have my man there. How about this guy? Anybody know about this guy? Let's take a look at him. Boom. This guy, at one time, he was a dishwasher. He was working for $1.20 an hour. He was about to become a billionaire from washing those dishes. Now he's one of the richest people in the world. But when he came, his name is Shahid Khan. When he came to the U.S. from Pakistan, he worked as a dishwasher while he was at the University of Illinois. And now, what does he do? He owns Flex and Gate, one of the largest private companies in the United States. And he owns the NFL Jacksonville Jaguars. And a Premier League soccer club called Fulham. He's killing it. So my man, net worth, $3.8 billion. He got 3 of those things. 3.8 of them, to be exact. Who do we have here? Let's see if anybody knows who this guy is. Guy's name is Kenny Trout. Kenny Trout. Guy over here with the... This guy with the hat. No, I think it's this guy with the hat on the other side. So where's Kenny Trout? He's the founder of XL Communications. He paid his way through college by selling life insurance. Right? His dad was a bartender. Paid his own tuition at Southern Illinois University. He made most of his money from the phone company XL Communications. He founded in 1988. And then he took it public in 1996. 2 years later, he merged his company with Teleglobe in a $3.5 billion deal, and he's now retired, and he invests heavily in racehorses. There he is. And that's how he took that momentum and put it into another passion, racehorses. And there he is winning a cup. Net worth, $1.7 billion. Not too bad. Not too bad. He's some characters for you guys. Here we go. What about this guy? Anybody recognize this guy? Oh, no. This guy is a mega resort owner. His name is Kirk Kerkorian. He was a 8th grade, middle school, I guess that would be, dropout. He dropped out in 8th grade and became a boxer. So to financially help his American immigrant family, as he's boxing, he's out there, he became known as the Rifle Right Kerkorian. And then during World War II, he worked for Britain's Royal Air Force. And he eventually turned his interest to constructing many of Las Vegas' biggest resorts and hotels. So he's a mega resort owner. Net worth, $3.9 billion. Not too bad for an 8th grade dropout. Not too bad. What about this guy? Oh, my man, 50 grand. There he is. John Paul DeJoria. You know, as a Paul Mitchell Focus Salon owner, I was so excited when I saw him on this list of dirt poor. Started from dirt poor. John Paul DeJoria, the man behind the hair care empire, John Paul Mitchell Systems. Also, one of his other businesses, I did tell you about Rock Mobile. That's his latest business. He just started at 7 years old. But He also has another business in between Paul Mitchell and in between Rock Mobile called Patron Tequila. You might have heard of it, the #1 premium tequila on the market. He once lived in a foster home, and he lived in his car before, with his son. And before the age of 10, he's a first-generation American. He sold Christmas cards and newspapers to help support his family. And then when he was in the foster home, he spent some time in a gang, ended up going into the military, and that was kind of his start. $700 loan. Him and Paul Mitchell created John Paul Mitchell Hair Care Systems, and they went door to door hustling shampoo door to door while living in his car. And he started Patron Tequila and other industries that he now invests in. Net worth, $4 billion. He's got 4 of those things. Dang. What about this guy? Right? Who's this guy? Ladies, you should know about this. It's one of the hottest women's clothing stores. Young ladies, I should say. A lot of our staff members, our younger female staff demographic, they shop there because they're forever trying to be 21. That's right. Forever 21. So he's a founder. His name is Do-Wan Chang. He worked as a janitor, gas station attendant, and in a coffee shop when he first got to America. So his husband is a husband and wife team. Him and his wife, Jin Suk, they're behind the brand Forever 21. So when they moved to America from Korea, they worked 3 different jobs trying to make it happen. They started their first store in 1984. So Forever 21, if you don't know it by now, you will. It's international, 480 store empire, and it rakes in around a cool $3 billion a year in sales. Janitor, dishwasher, barista. Net worth, $5 billion. I'm showing you this list, guys, so you can see anything is possible. If you were born in America and you got my man Do-Wan Chang, a janitor, dishwasher, coming over here, cool. Come on, guys. Let's do this. No excuses. What about this next person? You might seen this next person. Got a few more for you. Let's see. Already went on my man there. There we go. Anybody know about him? Luxury goods. You may have seen some of the logos from some of the brands that he owns. So he's the face of fashion. He owns a conglomerate called Kering, formerly PPR. But at one time, he had to quit high school because he was teased. So he quit, and he was teased because he was poor. He was bullied. And then as a businessman, he became known as a predator. His predator tactic, which includes buying smaller firms for a fraction of the cost when the market crashed. That's what he was doing. And then he started PPR, and they own high-end houses such as Gucci, Stella McCartney, Alexander McQueen, and Yves Saint Laurent. So he went from being bullied for being poor in 1974 to killing it. Net worth, $15 billion. Dang. $15 billion. He looks like a killer too. Look at him. Killing it. It's awesome. What about this guy? This guy you may have heard of. His name is Leonardo Del Vecchio. He grew up in an orphanage, and he later worked in a factory where he lost part of his finger. What happened from there? He's one of 5 children who eventually went to an orphanage because his widowed mother couldn't care for him. At the age of 23, he opened his own molding shop, which expanded to become the world's largest maker of sunglasses. Maybe you've heard of some of these brands that he owns called Ray-Ban or Oakley. Ever heard of them? Everybody got some Ray-Bans or wannabe Ray-Bans, but that's the man behind the story. That's the man behind the story. Current net worth, $15.3 billion. Dang. He don't look too depressed to me. He looks pretty damn happy. All right. What about this guy? He's been in a lot of news in the past couple of years. He's a legendary trader. His name is George Soros. He survived the Nazi occupation of Hungary, and he arrived in London as an impoverished college student. In his early teens, he posed as a godson of an employee of the Hungarian Ministry of Agriculture in order to stay safe from the Nazi occupation of Hungary. In 1947, he escaped the country to live with his relatives in London. He put himself through the London School of Economics, working as a waiter and a railway porter. After graduating, he worked at a souvenir shop before getting a job as a banker in New York City, the big city. And in 1992, his famous bet against the British pound made him a slick $1 billion. Yeah. So he's a trader. He's up on that stock market doing his thing. You know what his net worth is? $20 billion. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And what about this guy? Anybody seen this guy before? His name is Ka-shing. So he fled out of mainland China for Hong Kong in the 40s. His father died when he was 15, leaving Ka-shing responsible for supporting the family. And then in the 50s, he started his own company, Chong Kong Industries, which manufactured plastics at first, but would later expand into real estate. Now we're getting into some sick money. Li Ka-shing, net worth, how much you think? $31 billion. Coming in for a landing. Harold Simmons. Anybody hear of this guy? You might have heard of him. So he's one of the richest people in the world, but he grew up in a shack without plumbing or electricity. He managed to get accepted to the University of Texas, where he earned a bachelor's in economics. He got his first big break buying a chain of drugstores, which he would later sell for $50 million. And then he went on to become an expert in corporate buyouts. Unfortunately, he recently passed away at the age of 82 years old. Know what his net worth? $40 billion. And this guy, everybody's been touched by this guy. He created this cool little company called Oracle. The man's name is Larry Ellison. He was a college dropout. Mother died. After his mother died, he held odd jobs for 8 years, Brooklyn, New York. After that, he looked at moving to California and then worked a bunch of jobs, and then he founded a software company called Oracle in 1977, which is now one of the world's largest technology companies. So as you guys are looking at all these people, what do you think? You guys think you got a shot? You think you got a chance at hitting it big? I want you to think about this, guys. These people started from dirt poor. The ones that are still going, they're still moving. You got to build momentum. You don't want to hit it and then forget it. You want to build it, keep moving forward. You hit the top, you hit the mountaintop, hit the peak, move on to the next one. Small wins is what it's going to take. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Rolling with the D. I know I did. I learned a lot by just researching, going through all this material about billionaires. I want you to be a billionaire so freaking bad. But when you become a billionaire, I don't want you to be so freaking sad. I want you to be moving forward in a direction. Keep the momentum going. You've been rolling with the D. Tomorrow night, Halloween. What are you going to dress up as? If you're coming online tomorrow night, come in costume. Take some pictures. Tweet them, post it on Facebook, use your hashtag. The whole studio is going to be dressed up tomorrow, so you never know who you're going to see on camera. We might have all kinds of goblins and ghouls coming through at the Studio 1.0. So until tomorrow night, hope you guys are staying safe. This is Devil's Night. Be careful out there. A lot of little mischief going on. Keep working on your dream. Keep working on your empire, because I want you to be a billionaire. And I can't wait to hear about your victories. Thanks for tuning in. You've been rolling with the D. And I will see you tomorrow night.
most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family.
Woo! Yeah. We made it. We made it through another show. Here we are in the studio after hours. This is the after show. It's like no other show. So if you guys are watching this, if you just kind of stumbled in here, you actually are in the after show, which we call the show after the show. Rolling with the D is rolled over into what we call the after show, where get some feedback and kind of just do a little, freestyle. How the show went. I mean, we talked about some depressed people. We call them depressed because they're billionaires, but really what happens is, right, they made so much money, they had nowhere else to go. There was no up. They were above the ceiling. So now they're, they were depressed and became, raging alcoholics and, just blew it. Just blew a bunch of stuff. Didn't blow the money. They couldn't blow the money. The money was unblowable. It was unblowable. But that was what the show was really we're hitting on tonight. So I've got we're in the studio here. We got some behind the scenes action going on. I think we got a mic behind the scenes. We might be able to. But I got your way over there. His mic is way over there. So I don't know if I think we got a mic. I got sound here because I'm listening in, see what we got. Now that mic that's over there. This one. Hello. Don't talk at him. Yeah. Hello. No. No, it's it works, but what's gonna happen is if what's going to happen is the mic, if we want to pick up all the sound, we could actually use the mic that is on the Logitech cam because we have the microphone, but we could also use the. Are you going to say anything or you just?
No, it does work. It does work. It's guaranteed. I know it works. I'll show you. Hold on. Where's the source? No audio? Put it on there. And then you gotta send it live. See, you picked it, but you didn't send it live.
Oh. Hello.
See, it's live.
I'm live from Studio 1.0.
Alright, calm down. That's the thing, it's gotta be.
Hello. I'm live from Studio 1.0.
Why is it so loud? You get this thing way too loud.
No, it's like a delay.
Yeah, it's a delay. But the
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how did you like Jay's show? Hold on, I'm hearing that echo, so. No, you are experienced Pat, man. My own show. Would you like to be a billionaire?
you have volume up over there? Let's see. Oh, great. Thanks a lot. Monitor.
Yeah, this is a real kick-ass after party. Hello? Yeah, you can still, you got sound over there.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna try to. Let's try to figure out is how I can add the audio on the camera. This one. Okay, add microphone audio tag. Back here. Change audio. Logitech.
Hello.
No
Yeah,
sound.
we got everything, yeah.
This is picking up from here, right? Let me see if I go closer. It's picking up from here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything here.
If you don't, turn up your.
Turn up your microphone. Or turn up your headphones.
But it's very faint.
The delay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's turn this up some.
Well.
Is it? I mean, it's picking up. It's just
Talk.
it's probably coming from there. Oh. It's only coming from there.
What was what? All right, so we did the show, and we're in the after show. So if you guys people are hanging, if you're watching this, we do this after show to kind of get some feedback. Looking at the show topic tonight, how it went. So if you ended up landing in here, then you've discovered the underground layer. This is the underground layer. This is the kind of behind the scenes underground sound from the show after the show. And the topic tonight, I mean, we were digging into billionaires and the sad story about a lot of billionaires that make a ton of money, and then they become depressed, and they hit a point where it's like, what else can I do? I mean, we talked about a couple of the guys that walked on the moon. Like, what is, when you think about, like, when you have a goal that you're trying to hit, and did you set your goal? Like, I mean, the moon is a pretty big goal. What's your biggest goal, Pat, man?
A lot of them.
What's your biggest one? What's like would you say, like, when you think about like goals and things that you want to do, what would be like the biggest one on your list?
Be a filmmaker.
And then what happens?
And have my own film company. And live a nice and happy luxury whatever.
Put it together, man.
Luxury love style life. There.
Love style.
Whatever. Love, whatever.
To be in love.
Yeah, to be in love.
I thought you were already in love.
Oh, I'm in
It's
love with
complicated.
myself.
It's
You're
complicated.
dirty laundry here.
Say what?
Nothing.
You're in love with yourself.
Yes, I'm in love with myself.
Yeah, well, so you want to live a love style life.
I want to live
A luxury love style.
one of those, like, yeah, nice, right? Love everything. Yeah.
It's a lot of love in the room. But I mean, once you hit that, like, this is the thing, like, once you hit the peak, it's like, what's going to keep you going? Like, say that all happened in the next week. That's what happens to a lot of these guys. Like, all of a sudden that happens and they hit that peak, and then it's like, now what? There's like, what's next? And that's how a lot of them become depressed.
Make my own brand.
Right. So I think, I mean, in between now and then, I think that's where, like, the part about, like, the small wins. I think on your road, if you're, especially like if you're young, what happens if you're like Mark Zuckerberg at 30 years old and the guy's got, $30 billion?
I think he tripped into that. He fell into that one.
Why? Because you watched the movie?
I ain't watched the movie. Listen,
Well, you need to watch the movie.
I never saw the movie.
You never saw that movie? All the movies you saw,
Never.
you never watched that one?
Listen, there's a lot of movies I never saw. I never saw The Great Gatsby.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, yeah, I downloaded it. I got it from iTunes, so
Wait, you got it on iTunes? You bought it?
According
Yeah.
to my Match.com account, that's the last book I read.
The Great Gatsby? Oh my God. Why'd you put that on there?
Because I didn't do my profile.
Once again, this is Studio 1.0 coming live at 11:24 at night.
Here's the thing. If you're not gonna do your own profile on Match.com, then why the hell are you on Match.com?
That's garbage. Just go out and meet people, mingle.
Okay.
Don't people do that
So I'll go
anymore?
out now at 11:30
Oh,
at
fuck,
night.
no, you're not. 'Cause
Well,
you're
not
gonna
at
get
11.
egged.
Not at 11:30. I mean,
And
you
Tampa-
could
I do.
at 11:30 at night.
No, I'm
Oh.
just saying I could go out. It's just another outlet.
But like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the outlet, but you're not doing the profile.
So
So
Well,
what
by the
happens
way,
if somebody?
someone else describe how great I am, then
But have you read the book The Great Gatsby?
no.
That's not a great thing. Because what happens if you meet somebody and you're like, oh man, The Great Gatsby, remember the part when blah blah blah?
Yeah, I
blah?
saw the movie.
Yeah, the book's not the same as the movie. That's not. I mean, it's just not the same. I mean, you're gonna meet somebody.
Well,
they're
you know
gonna.
what? I get a lot of attention, so
Okay.
for my profile, like a lot of views.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it seems like you should do your own profile. I would do your own profile and put on there the last book you're reading right now, the Tony Robbins book. Put that on there. I bet you get way more views. I mean, are you trying to meet somebody that is interested in The Great Gatsby, or you know what I mean? That's interested in stuff that you're reading about for real, like in real life. I don't know. What's the last book you read, Pat?
Grant Cardone.
You're full of shit.
You're right.
You listened
Yeah,
to,
right.
but you did listen to. You listened to some of it. You don't.
Yeah, I
You're
listened
forced
to it. Yeah, I listened to it,
Yeah, you
and I
gotta.
read a little bit,
Yeah,
a couple of chapters.
No, that's true. Yeah,
See,
you did.
thank
you did
you.
read some.
I'm not full of shit. Now, Jagger.
What's the last
What are
movie
you?
watched?
Huh?
What's the last movie you watched?
Movie I watched?
Yeah.
Addicted.
What's that about?
Ooh, it's a brand new movie in the movie theater. Now I'm gonna plug it. Addicted, folks. It's about a female that's addicted to sex. She's a married female.
A married female. Who's in it? Who's in it?
People that we. Oh, actually, we will know. Model Tyrese Bedford, is it?
Oh, Tyrone Bedford. Bedford or Beckford? The
Ty-
black guy?
Tyson.
Tyson. Bedford.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
in it. He plays like a biker dude and shit.
Yeah, wasn't he in was he in Fast and
Yeah.
the Furious?
He was in a whole bunch of movies.
Was that Tyson Beckford or was that Tyrese?
Tyrese.
Tyrese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a model too.
Isn't he the same person?
No. All black people aren't the same people.
That's some stereotypical shit.
I mean, they're two black models. They must be the same. Their both
Yeah.
names start with a T. Just lump them all. Lump
And
sum.
we must say that's Jenna Westside. Thank you.
But I mean, so addicted. So female addicted to sex. What
Female
else?
that's
Sounds pretty
married that, not really loses interest in her husband, but it's just that the sex life isn't alive anymore. So
Is
she
that a
doesn't-
movie or did you say this was happening in real life?
No, it's
Oh.
a
Well, it's a
movie.
movie. It's a movie.
It's a movie. Oh, I get where you're going. Ha ha ha.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
See, that's why that's why we protect the faces of the innocent. That's why we go dark. Back there. So
We ain't airing our dirty laundry out in this shit either, so you know. And this is unfiltered, X-rated.
So she's addicted to sex, and then what happens? I mean,
So-
give us the punchline. Sell us the movie.
Okay, the punchline is she needs help, and she gets help from a
what?
counselor, and and yeah, she almost dies too. But
Almost dies.
well, she jumped in the incoming traffic, but she couldn't handle everything. Her husband.
Whoa,
found
Don't
her.
say the end of
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Whoa. Well, I mean, you already just said, wait, she jumps in the
She's depressed.
oncoming
Yeah,
traffic.
she's depressed, and you know.
Billionaire?
She might have been. She
She
might have been.
billionaire? I don't think so. I don't think she's too. Well, she did own her own company though.
So she might have been.
But it did belly up though. The fucking company bellied up when she quitted. So yeah.
Well, then she might have lost $1 billion.
Well, she lost more than that.
Well, she lost her life.
Almost lost her damn family. So yeah.
How'd you find out about the movie?
I don't know. I think I seen a commercial in City Dog. Another plug for you guys. City Dog, Tampa, Florida, in Grand Central. 1208 Grand. Is it 1208?
Yeah.
It's 12:08
East Kennedy.
Well, we're not doing a live. We're not doing a live.
Well, we have to plug,
Yeah, well, we have to. I mean, if they become, one of our ads, then we'll.
Oh, that should be one of our ads.
I
I think that would be awesome. Let's go
I
talk
thought
to
about
John
doing,
about that.
Well, I thought about doing one for just Grand Central in general.
I'll talk to
Just
John
as, like,
about City Dog.
Luxury living.
Nah, fuck that. I want to talk to John about City Dog because we're always eating over there. We're always spending our billions over there. That's why we have no billions.
But we can find out.
Yeah, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
So I
It's
mean,
available.
what about the show? How do you think the show went tonight?
It went pretty smooth.
I
It's
mean,
always running late though.
well,
Yeah, I mean, do you think the hour is
enough.
too much?
We can't do it in the
I
morning.
mean, what do you mean, an hour? Like too long of a show? Not really. I mean, I think an hour is an hour. It's like it flies by.
Well, the after
I mean,
show
it
is
can
something
go-
new too. So.
Well, yeah, the after show. I mean, you guys, if you're watching this, if you're on a record and you stumbled upon this, this is what we call the after show, where we just unplug and kind of recap the show. Tonight, we've got our studio audience consisting of our executive producer, Patman Films. He's off camera right, and we've got off camera left. We haven't really decided on the actual studio role for her yet, but right now we're just calling her JVW. She's off camera.
Barbara Bush.
But if you stumbled upon this, you guys are in the actual after show underground, where we're just kind of reviewing the topic and just getting some feedback and really just unplugging. And hopefully, if you guys are watching this, you're able to get something out of these Rolling with the D episodes and the topics we're talking about. I mean, we're talking about depressed billionaires tonight, and we I don't know. I mean, how do you make it beyond that? We had some interesting stories. Some of the guys that have achieved so much and then unfortunately become depressed and their life kind of slips away. What happens to those kind of people? And I mean, but you could be depressed before you become a billionaire. Depression isn't reserved for the billionaires, but it's kind of it's ironic that a lot of the billionaires become depressed. I mean, other people become depressed in just everyday life. Have you been depressed before?
Sure.
For how long? Because you were a billionaire, or just because you?
Just general life depression.
Yeah. Why?
No, there's a lot of reasons why. I don't know. Break up with a girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend. What about you? Never been depressed? just always. Like I stay in the state of depression, so I'm never in and out. I just stay in.
No, I mean, I feel like
I'm constantly in depression.
I think there's a chemical imbalance that people have, and it's very difficult for people who haven't been depressed to understand that feeling.
Okay.
So have I been depressed?
That's a very long.
No, I mean,
not
I
to
don't think
answer
I've been
the
like
question.
clinically depressed. I mean, I guess there's a difference between like depressed, where I'm like, well, I'm depressed, or I'm sad. I've been sad, and I have been in moods where no matter, like, I just can't fucking snap out of it. If that's called depression, then maybe. But it's not a good feeling when you're like that. That's why I feel like bad for people who every day feel like that. Like that woman at my conference.
Yeah. I think like these guys, they had it all, and they couldn't really see, like, okay, I got everything money can buy and money, so now what? So what, like, what do you do after that? I think that's kind of where a lot of these guys were like, I mean, so it's like, it's kind of a, I don't know, would it suck to, do you feel bad for them, or is it like, come on, like,
get your shit together. I mean, you got it all. Like, what do you got to be sad
Yeah,
about?
and that's fine, but then there's people who don't have it that are happy. So, I mean, why feel bad for the person that's depressed? I mean, you've got people that don't have anything that are happy.
But are you not feeling bad for them because they're depressed billionaires?
I think you just feel bad for them, for anybody who's sad, because it's not a nice feeling.
So you feel sad for the depressed billionaires?
Not because,
I mean, they're depressed billionaires.
okay, they're suppressed poor people.
Right, but do you feel sad for the depressed
Yeah,
billionaires?
because I don't think the money is, like, I don't think whether you have money or you don't have money would mean depression, like, would trigger. I think it's just a person.
So you think even if they didn't walk on the
Because there's
moon?
billionaires that aren't depressed.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are. But I mean, with the ones that are, I mean, do you feel like sad or bad for them?
I mean, I don't really care about anybody.
Do you feel sad for the billionaires that are
I feel
depressed?
sad when I'm fucking depressed.
Nope.
Why
Not at
not?
all.
Why not?
Why? Because they got more money than me. And they should feel sad for me because I don't have a billion or a pot to piss in. You know, well, actually, I do have a pot to piss in, but, you know, on the other hand, I'm looking at it, why do they have to be depressed? They have nothing to be depressed about. They can get anything they want.
Yeah, but we've already discussed that, like, material things don't make people happy. I mean, when I'm in a mood or I'm sad, I go shopping. But then once I buy something and I get it and I'm like, oh, I love it, then it's done, and then it's like...
Can I tell you something? What do you think a fat person does when they're depressed? They eat their life away.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever seen Night
Right,
Professor?
so just because I have
fucking
something...
eating M&M's. A jar of M&M's.
You're like, the billionaires have the money, so why should they be depressed? Well, I have new shoes, so why should I still be sad when I have that thing that at the time made me happy?
Maybe they didn't even do it.
So after you buy the shoes, you're sad?
I go back to, I mean, I you know, and I might wear them and feel good, and I'm like, okay, I feel good. But then, like, you go back to, I mean, if something happens to trigger your sadness, or if you just, like, that's why I don't think, like, a billionaire, like, yeah, they have so much money that could buy them everything, but that doesn't mean, because I'm not a billionaire, but if I make good tips one week, I might, you know, treat myself to something, but I still might be sad one day, and it's just...
to something else happiness. I don't know.
Huh?
Well, they're not dead. They don't kill themselves.
I guess it just is like, what else can you do to make yourself happy? So here we still have things going on. We were talking earlier about growing, but like them, like what can they? I mean, you said John Paul, he's a billionaire, but he's still producing companies. He's still growing. He's still doing things for people, so he's not depressed.
Yeah.
But it's these depressed billionaires. It's like, well, do something.
So you think, like, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or not. If you're not growing, you're likely to become depressed.
Yeah.
And if you stop growing, you're likely to become depressed.
Yeah.
Whether you have billions or not. Some people, so yeah, I guess the people that have billions and they stop growing.
I'm sure there's stuff you can do with your billions.
Right. So I think that's what it comes down to. They stop growing. Like Pat, if you stop growing, you could become depressed. You stop learning new things and doing new things.
I know, though, I learned this weekend, like, you need to change your physiology.
Yeah.
Be, like,
Tony Robbins, everybody, let's plug
I
them.
mean, I think I've been in a pretty good mood since I've been back.
She just recently returned
Yeah.
from Dallas, Texas, the Ebola state, where it came in originally from. Actually, originally from, I guess, Africa, but it first came, the first sightings was in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it's been not really though. I think it's already been.
Now it's already fucking
It was in other
spread
cities.
out.
This is the first run-in we've had with Ebola.
Well, I never heard it before, so. It's
You never
first
heard
one
of
for me.
Ebola before?
Hell no! I thought it was something new. I'm like, oh shit!
No,
What the fuck
hell no. Ebola's been around, man. This is like it's like anything. Like the movies, they come
Yeah.
back and then they bring them back. It's like a sequel.
Well, this ain't no damn sequel.
It's like
This ain't
Ebola.
no movie. Once
Ebola
you're dead,
first
you're
came
dead.
on the scene.
Don't come back. You're not Jason Voorhees. You're not Michael Myers. You're not coming back.
Yeah, no, Ebola's been around for a little while.
Never heard of it before. Maybe.
Have you, Jenna, heard of the Ebola before?
I'm sure it's been around. I don't think I've heard of it.
Thank you. Amen.
But I mean, it's just like, you know, H1N1, the bird flu.
Oh shit! Yeah, swine. Yeah. What about Agent Orange?
I mean, I need to come
Where
back
is it? What
sick
agent? Where?
from Dallas.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The current outbreak in West Africa, first cases notified in March 2014. It says, is the largest and most complex Ebola outbreak since the Ebola virus was first discovered in 1976.
Ooh.
There have been more cases and deaths in this outbreak than all others combined. So the current outbreak is the worst one, but 1976. That's when it first started. So, I mean, this is old news.
Okay.
But this is the hottest.
Old
This
news.
is the hot topic.
Oh, it's hot now.
So that's the thing. Like, if you have $1 billion, you know, you could, if you're depressed, why don't you, you know, go fight Ebola? Take some of that money. You can't get rid of it. You can't spend it anyway. You're
Well,
not
I mean, I guess for them, I mean, unless they're scientists, I mean, they could donate the money and then what? I mean, it's not like they're going to go to a petri dish and figure out the cure for Ebola or the cure for cancer. Like, what are they going to do? They donate money, you write a check, you stroke a, you know, whatever, and then that's it.
And then they're just depressed again. Like,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
That's why you need like a skill or a, you know, talent.
Yes. Talent.
That's why a lot of these guys are good business, so create another business.
Yeah. Serial entrepreneur.
Build, like you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why. I think, because I think, like, if you stop doing what you love to do, you would become depressed. It's just
That's
a
why you
matter
have
of
to
time.
figure out what you love to do.
Right. Yeah, and that's easy, right?
No.
It is easy if you understand that it's not the something that you love, it's the doing. That's the thing you got to realize. It's actually the doing. That's where the fulfillment comes. It's not the thing, something, it's the doing.
Well, you're doing something. I mean, you
Yeah.
be doing something.
Yeah, but not really, because it's just like those shoes. It's not the shoes that you got to fulfill. It's the shopping. It was the going to the shopping, because once the shopping ended, you just had the shoe, and then you're like,
Well, yeah, but then you
sad
put the
again.
shoes on and you like feel cute.
I mean, yeah, you can put the shoes on, but I think it's the actual doing, because from speaking from my own experience, it's not the company that is exciting. It's the building of it. Once it's built, then I'm like, all right, next. It's like the shoes. You got the shoes, and now it's like you move on. So I think that's the thing. It's like you have to keep doing, because you may love just doing. I'm saying that what the love might be for doing something, like just the doing in itself. I mean, you're making a film. Once the film hits the big screen, now what?
Make another one.
Yeah, you make it. You keep making them, because it's all that activity leading up to the film hitting the big screen is where the actual love, I think, is found. What do you think about that? Like, you do the haircut, like when it's all done, it's over. Like, yeah, it's like that. That's like a small piece of the creating of the process.
Yeah.
I think that's where you can find the love. So as long as you love doing, then I think you'll be good no matter what it is. You just got to be doing. That's what I think we have to be doing something. So it might be getting a haircut, doing a filming, doing a taping, doing a, recording, taking some pictures, film, whatever it is. Why are you so tired?
Man, listen, it's 11:40 something.
Okay. So what are you so tired? What's the deal?
I don't know.
I was about to purge him today.
Oh, you're about to get purged.
Here we go with the purge.
Why?
Here.
Why are you about to get purged?
Purge them all. Purge everybody at the salon.
See, that's the thing. That's the doing, because they're not doing something. That's why, like, the people that are depressed, I think, because they stop doing.
They let the money do it for them.
And if they parlay, if they don't have money, like that's why you have some people that are happy as they're happy as
I
shit
think there's differences though.
just to be going to work. It's not the work; it's actually the working.
Like, I mean, I've never been like where I've wanted to like kill myself, so depressed. But
Well, that's good.
like, I still have continuously done my craft, which is hair.
Right.
But because I go home and I'm feeling down, like that's not because I'm not doing hair. Like it's just like so that's where I think being sad or being in a mood is different than from being like depressed, because
Than being depressed, like clinically
Yeah.
diagnosed.
yeah,
Okay.
unless you're talking like a long-term thing. Like if I stop doing hair long-term, then I would become depressed because I'm not doing what I like to do.
Well, if you stop doing anything, I think you become depressed. A person.
Right, but so I'm still doing what I like to do, so sometimes I get down though, so
Well, if you weren't doing crap.
I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's like, what are you down about?
Oh,
Yeah. So what are you down about? When you're down and you're still doing what you're doing.
It's the best.
I think. Well, I think you know, because you could do more. Because you're not really doing what you could actually do. You're kind of half-assing, maybe. Maybe you're like doing like kind of when you just go through the motions. Because there's a part of us, I think, that knows like you're full of shit. Like there's a part of us that when we're doing something and we don't really try, that we know that we're kind of just half-assing, and so that kind of it depresses us because maybe we're like, I feel kind of like shitty. Like I think that's. I mean, I just think that's a human nature type of thing. Like you don't think that you could do more. So if you're doing a half-assed job, you might think you're fooling somebody, but you're not, and you become depressed because you start feeling like not as significant, and you could be doing more. Like he was talking about filming and doing stuff like that. Like if he's not doing it, why is he not doing it? And if he's not doing it, is he gonna be a little like, damn, I should be doing this? I mean, if I'm looking at like, why am I not doing something I know I can do or I should be doing, that could be depressing in itself, whether you're a billionaire or not.
yeah,
You might be a millionaire.
that is.
Are you a millionaire, Fat?
No.
Why not?
Well,
Not quite yet.
Okay, but you could be, right?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Well, there you go. Small wins. Small wins. That's what they're talking about. At least if you're working on it, you're working towards it. Small wins. Huh?
This is behind the scenes. I think we're done now, right? Yes. Wow, the buses are still running at this time. When's the last bus? 12 o'clock?
Well, because we implemented the purge report, so there's people that got to go to work. First of the month, Saturday.
That's right. You better watch out. In 2 days, your ass is going in that shift. Oh well.
All right, well,
Signing out.
let's
Sunny D,
stick a fork in this depressed.
Jenna,
now I'm depressed.
and
No, Jenna's
Pat. We're all depressed. Call in and help us all.
Everybody's depressed.
We have $1 billion and we're depressed because we have it.
We made some money and now we're all depressed.
Bye bye.
Ow, my back hurts.
Never forgetting where we came from.